Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Baron and this is your Brain on Books, and today I get to do my favorite kind of video, which is a book haul. And I got some cool stuff over here. Way more than I thought I actually purchased since my last book haul, so this is going to be a lot of fun. But before we get into it, I do have a channel announcement, something I'm really excited about. There's been a channel Discord for several months now, and if you're already a member on there, you might have noticed some changes. The Your Brain on Books Discord has now turned into a collaborative effort with three other booktubers, and that is RJ Gibson, Alex, who is Tall Guy Reads, and Theo, the Rekindled Reader. And we have rebranded the Discord as the Grimoire, and very excited. A lot of people are flooding in. They've kind of done some announcements within the past couple days, and we're just super excited about building a community. We have some read-alongs planned, so if you're interested, I'll leave the link down below. Come join us. We got some other booktubers on there. Some authors have joined to kind of chat with us through these read-alongs. A lot of exciting stuff in the works. But enough about that. Let's just get right on into the books. And I didn't do an exact count, but I think I have around 25, 30 books here, which is a lot considering I said I wasn't going to buy any more. But we all know that's kind of nonsense when we say it, right? So the first one I have is The Vanished Birds by Simon Jimenez. Now, this book was recommended to me from Kayla, from Kay's Hidden Shelf, and I already started this. You can see the bookmark in, but I'm only a few chapters in, and this is really, really cool. So this is kind of some time travel, thought-provoking science fiction. It's written in a way that I haven't quite experienced from recent sci-fi. It feels modern, it feels fresh, and I can't wait to see where it goes. So, if it shakes out the way I think it will, I will likely do a review for that one. And next up, I have The King in Yellow. Now, this book is a horror classic. You know, a lot of people, modern horror authors say, H.P. Lovecraft was a big influence. Well, Robert Chambers was a big influence on H.P. Lovecraft. This is several short stories strung together with a theme of a play called The King in Yellow, and this used to be called a book that if you read it, you would go insane. So this is a very short one. I plan on fitting this in the fall to just kind of round out some of those Halloween horror reads. So I have a few books here that are going to be second chances for authors, and the first one is Black Swan Green by David Mitchell. Now, I read Cloud Atlas earlier in the year, although I should say I read about half of it and DNF'd it. It wasn't a book that I particularly enjoyed. However, David Mitchell is clearly a talented author. I want to give him another shot, and there is a fan of David Mitchell who I talked to quite a bit. He's a member on the Discord, and he said that, you know what, given your taste, I think you're going to like this one. So we're going to give it a shot. Another quick book. I don't know how soon I'll get to it, but probably in the next couple months, I would say. I've really been on a kick with some of these more literary fiction books. A lot of standalones. And on that same track, I also picked up Sing Unburied Sing by Jasmine Ward. Another quick book. This was the National Book Award winner. Another booktuber who I talked to, Nate from Big Nate's Book Reviews. He mentioned this one, put it on my radar. I think it's going to be pretty good overall. Heard great things about this. I don't know what the premise is. Can't speak to it beyond the fact that it's got a very, very substantial critical acclaim, you could say. All right, so next up, I have a couple horror novels, actually quite a few on here. The first one is Brother by Nia Alborn. This is a horror author I've wanted to try for a while. I don't see a lot of female horror authors getting much attention. You know, we always talking about like Stephen King and Clyde Barker and Dean Koontz and all these folks. But she's been making big waves in the horror community, and I can't wait to try this. I know this is kind of one of those hillbilly, nasty, kind of grotesque books, and I'm sure just given the cover and title, it's going to fit the bill for that. So very excited to try this one out. I know Amanda from Shelf Unstable just read it. She said it was quite good and was interested in reading more of her works, and I trust Amanda. We have very similar reading tastes overall. So sticking with both horror and then also giving an author another chance, I got My Heart is a Chainsaw by Stephen Graham Jones. The only Stephen Graham Jones I have attempted to read was Only the Good Indians. I think about a year or two ago, I gave that book a try. I ended up DNFing it. I didn't really care for his writing style. Something about it, I just couldn't click with it. And I know people love that book. But he is such a big name in horror now, I would be remiss not to at least give him another chance. So I found this hardcover pretty cheap. Thought I'd give it another try. Not sure when I'll get to it. Might slot it into spooky season fall reads, which are coming up quickly. This year is just whizzing by, I gotta say. So, gonna try something a little bit new. I actually picked up Uzumaki. Now, I have never read a manga in my life. But I like weird fiction, I like horror fiction, anything bizarre, and I've seen people talk about this, and it seems like something I would be interested in. So I'm going to give this a try. Likely I'll do a review for this once I finish it, just kind of not just about this book, but just kind of my experience going from somebody who reads exclusively novels to actually picking up a manga, and I hope I like this. It's just an area I'd like to explore more. You know, it seems like it might be a nice change up. My only hesitation with manga is I'm a very visual reader, so I've had a difficult time kind of understanding how I would take away the imagination component from the reading experience. But I just have to go into this knowing that it's a completely different entity and just enjoy it for that. So excited to see what I think there. All right, I have some sci-fi, a couple books. The first one is Sea of Tranquility by Emily St. John Mandel. I don't know a whole lot about what this book is. I just know it's sci-fi, and I've seen so much praise for it, and this cover is awesome. I mean, it's like super, like kind of just metallic and reflective, and just, I love everything about it. I was interested just based on the cover alone, and then when I saw all the praise for the book, I was like, oh, I gotta pick this thing up. So I was actually on vacation and popped in like a small local bookstore, and they had this, and it was a no-brainer. It was small enough I could still fit it in my carry-on the airplane. Okay, another sci-fi. This is a book I've wanted to read and purchase for quite a long time. And this is some Isaac Asimov. Now, this book, I haven't seen this edition before. I don't know exactly what it is, so if you do, please leave it down below, because I haven't been able to find this online. But this has the first entry of both Foundation and iRobot, and I found this at a used bookstore and was very excited. I don't know if you've had the same experience at used bookstores with Asimov, but if you look for Foundation, you never find the first book. It's always like second, third, Foundation, or Foundation's End, and then, you know, the robot thing you might see like some random ones. So finding the first entry in both series in one like bind up hardcover, I was very excited about. And this is weird. It just has the same on both sides. I assume this is some type of like book club situation, but yeah, I have no idea. I don't know. So if you do, please let me know. I'd be curious, because I look in the back and it seems like they have some other titles, some Herman Melville, David Niven. So I don't know, this might be a cool thing if I can find more of them. All right, going forward, I recently talked about reading East of Eden on the channel, and I loved that book. That was my first exposure to John Steinbeck, and I want to try more. And the one I have was a Centennial trade paperback edition, and I ended up getting 3 more of them, just so I can kind of continue my journey with John Steinbeck. So I picked up Of Mice and Men, very short book. My dad's been trying to get me to read this for eons, so that's going to happen soon. I have Cannery Row, another quick one, and the classic, which is Grapes of Wrath. A little bit longer, obviously, but I know this is a well-loved and respected book, and I'm assuming it to be kind of a similar experience for me with East of Eden, which I absolutely loved. It's probably in my top 5 books for the year so far. So those will be happening pretty soon. So I received my first gift from a viewer of the channel, and this was amazing. This person knows I'm a father. I'm up to 3 daughters now, and he sent me this book. This guy is from Finland. He said, hey, this is a Finnish author. I think your children might enjoy this. I'm going to send it to you. Apparently, this is a very popular thing. It's been out for a long time, but I had never heard of it. And this is Comet in Moomin Land. And I already started this with my oldest daughter. We're almost halfway through, just kind of doing a chapter here and there as her attention span allows it. But it's been very whimsical and fun, and kind of feels almost like the whimsical nature of The Hobbit or some of the Neil Gaiman books. So this is very cool. And I want to thank the person, Adam, who sent this to me. This meant a ton, because not only did you send something for me, but for my daughters, which just meant the world. So thank you very, very much. Okay, so, man, I gotta slide these over. I apologize. Next one I have, a book I just recently read, which is No Country for Old Men. Cormac McCarthy, quickly becoming a favorite author of mine. So as I see any hardcovers of his, I'm just grabbing them. They're very difficult to find. Not so much with This or the Road, but some of his early works are super rare, very expensive, and even these more common ones, I've struggled to find them in decent shape. This one's a little battered, but overall it's fine to stick on the shelf. So, loved this book. Happy to finally own a copy of it. So, another author I want to try, Thomas Pynchon. Now, I don't know if this is a good starting point, but the subject matter of Mason and Dixon just interests me a lot. I love historical fiction, I love American history, and I love beautiful writing. So this just seems perfect for me, but it is a huge, huge book. So kind of crazy starting a new author with something that is this massive. But, you know, he is a very well-respected writer, and I'm sure it's going to be a good experience. I'm not sure how soon I'll be getting to something this large, but either way, I'm excited about it. If you're a Pynchon fan and you think there's something else, maybe a quick read I should try first, just to kind of get acclimated to his writing style, let me know what that is. I'd be really curious. I've looked at some stuff online, but a lot of conflicting opinions, so I just said forget it. I'm just going to do my own thing. Okay, moving on, I have Gone South by Robert McCammon. Now, this author's been getting a lot of buzz on BookTube lately, and I'm glad to see it. I read Boy's Life, loved it. I'm reading Swan Song in September, I believe. I'm part of a read along with Jimmy Nuts from the Fantasy Network. But I've just kind of been keeping an eye out for McCammon books, and they are actually pretty darn hard to find in used shops. I mean, we see them on eBay, and you can buy some paperbacks at like Barnes & Noble and stuff. But, you know, walking into Half Price Books or your local shop and seeing hardcovers is like so rare. And I've been looking constantly, and this is the first one I come across. I don't know how soon I'll read this one. It is pretty short. I have some other ones that are kind of higher in the list from McCammon, like Swan Song, Wolf's Hour, They Thirst, I want to get to. But any McCammon at this point that I see, I'm going to grab it because I slowly want to build a collection. I only have 2, and it's been difficult just finding those 2. And another author I've been collecting is Dan Simmons. And I went into a used shop, and they had a bunch of signed Simmons books. The first one I picked up was Hard Freeze, which is actually the second book in one of his hard case crime series. But this one was affordable, and it is a signed first. And I don't know how, but I somehow amassed quite a lot of signed Dan Simmons books. So any of those I could find for a reasonable deal, I'm going to pick up. And another one I picked up was The Crook Factory, which is another signed Simmons. So add that to the collection. I think I have, 4 or 5 of them now? Which was pretty cool. I don't know what this book is. Cover's kind of interesting. It says a novel of suspense, whatever the heck that's supposed to mean. I don't know if it's another crime novel, mystery, horror. Dan Simmons kind of does it all, so there's no telling. Okay, it would not be a Your Brain on Books book haul without some Clyde Barker, and I found this at a used shop, The Essential Clyde Barker. This is a collection of short stories. It was perfect condition. It was cheap. I grabbed it. It kind of killed me to have a Clyde Barker book that's not signed because my entire collection is, but I mean, whatever, right? I mean, I shouldn't care that much. This was in great shape. A lot of these short stories I have already read, but it's nice just having them all wrapped up into a single book. My only disappointment, I will say, is if this is the Essential Clyde Barker, why is there no illustrations? Because the man has some incredible artwork. So that seems like a missed opportunity. But moving on. So the last books I got, and probably the coolest out of the lot, is I got... Oh, here we go. I had them in the wrong order. The Prince of Nothing trilogy. And I got these all in these first edition hardcovers, kind of reflective. I have them wrapped up in Mylar. So starting with The Darkness That Comes Before, The Warrior Prophet, and The Thousandfold Thought. Now I have started this I'm working on The Darkness Comes Before very slowly, and the people that know I've been reading, I apologize that I'm taking so long. But I love Baker's writing style, but it is... I have to be in the mood for it because it's very dark, it's very grim and bleak, and it almost reads kind of like this fantasy scripture in a way. But I'm about a little over halfway done with this one, and I am enjoying it a lot. So have every intention of continuing the series once I wrap this up. The first book feels foundational, and that's okay, but I can kind of see where things are kind of heading, and I'm excited to see how he wraps it all up. But I've heard some things that the follow-up series is really where things start moving, so I might be reading R. Scott Baker for quite a while. But anyway, that's it for today. Really excited about these books. Hopefully get to pick them up really soon. Expect some reviews for these. If there's any in particular you're interested in, drop a comment down below. And just one more time, the Grimoire Discord, if you're interested, coming out with Alex, Theo, RJ, and I. We're very excited about this whole thing and just collaboration, and really want to build a special community, not just for us, but for you guys as well. So until next time, see ya.